Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? And welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast. I am the host, TJ Jones. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to each and every one of you that have took the time out to be a part of the State of the Saints podcast on this beautiful, beautiful Christmas day. And I hope that you and your family had a beautiful Christmas morning. And now we transition to the afternoon to a big, huge matchup. And before I get started and go into this, yes, I did change up the intro just for this day only, okay? Just because of the special occasion, okay? But a Week 16 matchup, the New Orleans Saints taking on the Minnesota Vikings. And this game will answer a lot of questions. Number one, it will seal up the division for the New Orleans Saints with a victory here today. Also, it would give the Saints a guaranteed home game in the playoffs. But the Saints have a tall task, man. They go up against a team that has been a thorn in the side of the Who Dat Nation, as well as the Saints team in general over the past 3 to 4 years, and that is the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, they don't look like a really good team. They don't look like a team if you're looking at their record, but they do pose a real true threat to the New Orleans Saints, and the Minnesota Vikings do a lot of things well. And yes, they're dealing with injuries just like the Saints, but the Minnesota Vikings, to me, are a team that is constructed to be able to counteract what the Saints do best. Okay. On last night, I talked a little bit about this game. So I'm not going to go into this big spiel. Some of you probably checked it out, so it sounds like it would be me just repeating myself. But what I want to do right now, I want to thank everybody for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Those that are filing into the chat, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you that are taking the time out. I understand that you're with your families right now. You know, you could be doing so many other things, so I really do appreciate the time. What I'm going to do in a few minutes, I'm going to open up the phone lines. Just as simple as that, man. Just as simple as that, because we had some technical difficulties out here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I reside. We had a rainstorm, and the rainstorm was affecting the internet connection. So because of that, I wasn't able to take as many phone calls as I would like. A lot of people that actually called in, they couldn't really get their words across because my internet service caused them to keep on buffering out. So I'm not going to hold everybody long, like a preacher would say at a Baptist church. I'm not going to hold you long, okay? I'm just going to give my opening dialogue, and then we're going to go ahead into the phone lines. And then I want people to give their predictions. And if you don't feel like calling in, if you don't want to talk or speak or anything like that, that's fine. You can always give your predictions right here in the comments. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to I Be Ripping Them. Thank you very much for the $5. He says, after eating a holiday meal, the Saints fart protection should be stout at the O-line. Well, I hope that the offensive line be stout in general. I hope it does, because the Saints are definitely going to need the offensive line today, especially to be able to run block. Hopefully, run blocking is in the game plan for the New Orleans Saints, because that's the only way I can really truly see the Saints winning this football game if they're running the football. Look, they cannot get behind the 8 ball. I talked about this before. They got to start fast. They cannot rely on Drew Brees to go out here and throw the ball all over the field like he in his late 20s. You know what I'm saying? Just 2008, 2009. You have to go out there and run this football, because, once again, Drew Brees can't carry this team anymore. Defenses are sitting on these routes because they know that most likely Drew Brees is not going to throw the ball over their heads. He's not going to throw the ball down the field. And, you know, the New Orleans Saints, they have to help their 41-year-old quarterback out, man. You look at some of these people in the past. You look at some of these guys that were in the twilights of their career. People like Peyton Manning, people like John Elway, you know, like people like that. You know, they always had a tendency of having a good defense and a good running game. Terrell Davis was the one that was the bell cow back for the Denver Broncos during the twilight of John Elway's career. And then you seen, you know, with the Denver Broncos, you know what I'm saying, they had a stout running game and they had a really good defense. So the Saints have a really good defense and they have a good running game for the most part. But they got to utilize it, man. The Saints aren't going anywhere if they don't run the football. If you think, as a Saints fan, as a longtime Saints fan, a person that's watched the Saints, a person that's cheered for the Saints, if you think that the New Orleans Saints are going to win or get close to the Super Bowl on the arm of Drew Brees, you're sadly mistaken. Now, if Drew Brees has what it takes, if let's just say if it's like late in the fourth quarter, the Saints are down by 3 and they need to get a field goal range that they need a touchdown. We got the right quarterback for the job. But for him to go toe-to-toe each and every week like he once did in the past, those days are over. You have to be able to run the football. You have to be able to complement this 41-year-old quarterback that you have. The Rock, thank you very much for $2. Not that Rock. It says, run me, all right? Not to be mistaken with the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, the great one, The Rock. Not that Rock, okay? You're talking about the actual football here. So, nevertheless, thank you very much for the $2, Rock. We really do appreciate that. Before I get to the phone lines, and I just want to play a little clip of something that I watched today, and it was just something that I just couldn't believe, man. This is something that really bothered me today, that it was on ESPN's Get Up with Mike Greenberg. He asked a question about Michael Thomas. As we all know, that Michael Thomas has been put on IR. He has been dealing with an ankle injury throughout this entire season. It started back in week 1 towards the last 2 minutes of the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he's had this injury. It's been lingering. Of course, he had a hamstring and, a few more issues. But check out this very reckless take by ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum. I want y'all to check it out and listen to what he says here.
Meanwhile, you mentioned Michael Thomas. A year ago, he was a legit contender for MVP. This has been something of a lost season for him, Mike Tannenbaum. What is your sense of what's going on there?
Yeah, there's a lot of noise coming out of New Orleans that he's not happy there. He's only played in 7 games, so we'll see how the postseason goes with him and Drew Brees, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Thomas was on another team next year. It's been a disappointing season, and I agree with what Bart Scott said, which is Drew Brees looked old and rusty, so this has to get better in a hurry. They have the chance to be the best team, but without a happy and focused Michael Thomas, I think they're very vulnerable in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, now check this out. Now, he said there was a lot to digest there, okay? It was a lot of BS, okay? And I'm pretty sure if people didn't have, Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch or whatever you want to call it right now, I'm pretty sure that they would be actually almost regurgitating over the BS that he's saying right now if he wasn't full already. But this fool said that Michael Thomas is not happy in New Orleans. Now, there was some stories that came out talking about Michael Thomas at when he was suspended in that game he was supposed to play versus the Chargers. Of course, he and C.J. Gardner-Johnson got into a fight. He hit C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was asked to go home, and he was suspended. Okay, but that pretty much has been sealed up. Okay, I mean, it was water under a bridge. The Saints used this as as a teaching lesson to Michael Thomas. And just to show him, just because you're making this much money, just because you're a superstar, doesn't mean you're an exception to the rule. So they sent him home. But here we see these guys trying to create the picture, trying to create this narrative that Michael Thomas is phoning it in, that Michael Thomas is not legitimately hurt. He is just basically just sitting on the sidelines. Sean Payton made it very, very clear that they want to preserve Michael Thomas for the playoff run because they feel like what he can bring to the table, they want him to be ready for the playoffs. So they understand that, well, you already sealed the deal. You already made the playoffs. All you got to do is win one more game for the division. So why put him out there and risk him possibly re-aggravating the injury that he's dealing with, where he can actually sit for 3 weeks and be ready for a playoff run? That's number one. Number two, the guy said that Drew Brees looked old, on last week. I mean, didn't the guy have 11 fractured ribs? Did the guy not have, did the guy not have, a collapsed lung? I mean, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we trying to pretend, that Drew Brees didn't deal with these type of injuries? People make it seem like Drew Brees just fell off a cliff and there was like no reason why he's playing the way that he did or why he started off rusty on last week. And I find that very ironic. I find it very ironic that the national media tries to jump out of the trees to try to discredit Drew Brees anytime Drew Brees can't throw the ball down the field, anytime Drew Brees doesn't play as efficient as he once did. But we watch people each and every week, like a 42 or 43-year-old Tom Brady, overthrow his receivers week after week, and people just act as if it didn't happen. But Drew Brees is the one that's falling off the cliff. Drew Brees is the one that just basically doesn't have it anymore. Drew Brees is the one that's washed. And the last time I checked, the one that they're actually protecting, when they went head to head, I'm talking he and Tom Brady, didn't Drew Brees outplay Tom Brady on 2 occasions? Did Drew Brees, the last time we seen him go up against Tom Brady, did he not throw 4 touchdowns? So, I mean, I'm missing something here, man. I mean, Drew Brees was playing pretty efficient before he ended up getting injured. I mean, he is the king of the 2-minute drill, man. You need a 2-minute drive. Drew Brees is there. You need a field goal. You need a touchdown. He right there. I have not seen Tom Brady like that. I've seen Tom Brady play absolutely hot garbage throughout the season, but I've heard excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. It has to have something to do with his wide receivers, him not being on the same page with his receivers, them not having chemistry. Well, excuse me, last time I checked, the same person that they just mentioned, Michael Thomas, has he been hurt the whole entire season? Isn't Emmanuel Sanders new? Isn't Marquez Callaway new? Isn't Jawan Johnson new? I mean, come on, man. Who's the only one that has been a mainstay in their receiver core that's been a part of that rotation? It's been Traquan Smith. So what's the difference between Drew Brees having to be on the same page with some new guys that he barely even practiced with no offseason, no OTAs, and no minicamp, yet he goes out there and he's more efficient, but yet we're sweeping it under the rug that Tom Brady is out there overthrowing his receivers and still not on the same page after 16 weeks of football. This is the reason why, Who Dat Nation, I don't pay attention, and I get really, really frustrated when I do, that we have this type of narrative going on. And like I said, I understand the media, man. The media wants to elevate their picks and chooses, and they want to devalue the ones that they don't feel like fits into their little circle. I get it, man. I understand that Drew Brees isn't the most exciting quarterback in the world. I understand he's not going to knock your socks off with his arm strength. I understand that he's not going to give you this crazy soundbite after games. And I understand that the guy pretty much lives a pretty simple life, him being a father and a husband. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, don't try to devalue the guy. And now look at the fact that this guy has been playing behind the 8 ball this entire season, dealing with injuries at the wide receiver position and him having to find chemistry, just like Tom Brady. And then you want to elevate the way that he played against the Kansas City Chiefs and make it seem like he's falling off a cliff when a guy is coming back and hasn't thrown a football in over a month. The media ought to be ashamed of themselves. They need to stop this stuff, man. You would think that the Saints are 3-10, or, you know what I'm saying, or 4-10 or something like that, instead of them being 10-4. This is absolutely ridiculous, and they need to cut it out. All right? They need to cut it out. That is what I'm here for, man. I'm here to let people see through the BS and the hypocrisy of the media. You know what I'm saying? That is what's going on here. There's extreme hypocrisy when it comes to the media. And I'm not even saying this when it comes to the Saints. You can look at teams like the Cleveland Browns. You can look at some of these other teams that are rising up the ranks, that are playing football better than some of these nostalgia acts, yet they're not even really being talked about. There is no way in the world the Dallas Cowboys should demand more press lines than the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns haven't sniffed the Super Bowl or playoffs in over about 15 years. And yet these guys are in the limelight. They should be talked about. They're a couple games away from possibly even winning the AFC North, since the Steelers has lost 3 straight games. Why is it that they always pick these nostalgia acts and elevate these guys, and they're not looking at the guys that deserve the press clippings? It's an absolute embarrassment. Their credibility shrinks by the minute, and they are doing a disservice to the people that come to them each and every day, and they come to them as if they're getting the facts. But in reality, they're getting this warped, twisted, echo chamber type rhetoric from these guys. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? Those are the driving forces. The Steelers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Patriots. I get it. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. I get it. That's what people want to see. But at the same time, don't devalue or don't depreciate the efforts of some of these mid-market teams that are trying to rise to the ranks and trying to remove the stench of mediocrity and funk and pathetic play from their franchises. Just because those guys are late to the party does not mean that those guys aren't at the party. And right now, those guys are the life of the party. And some of those guys that you think are cool are sitting somewhere in a corner. And, you know, everybody's around in a circle looking at teams like the Browns, looking at teams like the Saints, looking at teams like some of these other guys that are out here right now, like the Dolphins, who are elevating their game, the Buffalo Bills. Ain't nobody paying no attention to no Packers. Nobody cares about the Cowboys, and nobody cares about the pathetic NFC East, who they try to push and elevate each and every week and make us care. We do not care. This is a good football team. We have a great quarterback that leads this team, and they need to put some respect on that man damn name. Tom Brady, thank you very much for the $2. Says, I still have welts from the spanking Drew Brees gave me. Yeah, I believe it, but nobody gonna see those welts. It's as if they never happened, Tom. So you should be okay, man. You ain't got a spot or a blemish on your record, my friend. There's nothing, you know. If Tom Brady loses, it doesn't happen. If Tom Brady overthrows somebody, it doesn't happen. If Tom Brady gets blew out, it never happens. It's always about, oh, they're gonna make the playoffs. Oh, they're gonna go to the Super Bowl. Oh, they're gonna win this. Oh, they still got a chance. Like, okay. Dwayne Johnson, thank you very much for the $2. Says, I'm watching though. Well, I appreciate it, Dwayne. Thank you so much for leaving a set of your latest movie, because we always know you got a movie coming out to check out the State of the Saints podcast. I appreciate that. Thank you. Roderick Williams, thank you very much, Gucci Mane. I really appreciate that. Congratulations on the birth of your child. Thank you for the $5. Says your blood pressure is too elevated. Calm down. I feel your frustration. That's why I don't listen to them jokers. My blood pressure isn't high at all, man. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to deliver it to you all with energy, because that's just the way I feel, man. That's how I try to deliver. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to deliver y'all this information sounding like Ben Stein on Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And some of y'all probably have seen that movie before. He's the real boring, drawn-out voice guy that you probably seen on Clear Out commercials back in the day. You know, Bueller. I don't want to sound like him, right? I want to be able to deliver this with energy. Just because I'm delivering with energy, Roderick, I mean, don't get it twisted, man. I'm just letting you all know how I feel, but at the same time, bringing it right here on this Christmas Day, getting you ready for this Saints game. Steve, thank you very much. He says the media blows for real. Who cares about them? You know, I just feel like this. As a person that's a part of the media, a person that's in broadcasting, you know, I do a show Monday through Friday. You know, I'm a radio personality. And one of the things that I like to do, I like to give people the truth. I don't like to sugarcoat it and water it down and make it seem like it's right, just because, you know, I want people to come and gravitate to me to listen to what I got to say. I would be doing people a disservice. I don't do that when I'm on the air, and I definitely don't do it here on the State of the Saints podcast. I get ideas all the time. People, why do you don't change this? Why you don't change that? The reason why is because I know it would make me lose a part of myself that I feel like is genuine and true. And I feel like if it doesn't stick with me, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to bring it to people, because I don't want to sell people wolf tickets. I don't want to sell people lies. But it seems like to me, the only thing that matters to these media people are the Nielsen ratings. And for those that don't know what the Nielsen ratings are, those are the numbers that come out at the end of every week. You know what I'm saying? That the shows pay attention to, right? It tells you how many people are watching at this particular time, at this particular segment, what's the age group, you know what I'm saying, the demographics and all that kind of stuff. And that's the only thing that they care about. So they don't care what they say. As long as what they're saying brings you back, that's all that they care about. But as for me, I want people to come back because they're going to say that TJ Jones kept it real, that TJ Jones kept it 100. I enjoy the State of the Saints podcast because I am getting a reflection, you know what I'm saying, of who TJ Jones is and the passion that he has behind the New Orleans Saints. All the rest of that stuff, saying that the Saints going to go undefeated and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to sit up here and play that type of game with anybody, because there are teams just as good as the New Orleans Saints that could possibly beat the Saints. So I'm not going to go out here and say this stuff just because I feel like it might bring in people. Like me for who I am. Love me for who I am. Accept me for who I am. If I'm not giving you what you need, then I apologize, but I'm not going to change that. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that push these narratives to have people come back. And it's not even their real actual factual truth. Okay. It's the intern that stayed up all night long that read the analytics, that brought the little nuggets and notes to these hosts and feeding this stuff into their ears to make them sound like they know what they're talking about. But in reality, if you ask them after their show go off the air and you watch and you walk past them in the street and you ask them about something they may have said in the 8:30 hour, they probably couldn't even tell you. If you're doing stuff like that, man, I got a problem with you, because you're doing a disservice to every single person that comes to you and everybody that follows you, because they feel like you are the person that's giving them what they need. They feel like you're giving them the passion and you coming from a very genuine place. And when you're not doing that, that's when I got a problem with you. It's not so much about them just talking about the Saints, but it's just the fact that they're creating this narrative. We as Saints fans understand that. We know what the Saints are. We know the threat that they bring. We know the credibility. We understand as Saints fans, if you've been watching the Saints for the last 15 to 16 years, you understand how much this team has changed, and the stigma of the New Orleans Saints has changed over that time. So when they start talking about all of the transgressions of the Saints, if you're a casual fan that don't really follow the Saints, that might be the narrative that you run with. And that is something that I feel like we shouldn't be doing, in the national news. That is my only gripe with them, not being genuine and not being real. You do you, TJ. We appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. That's what I try to do here. That's what I try to do. And I feel like everybody should do that. Saints going to give us a win for Christmas. Who that nation? But I hope they do. They really do need to win this game, man. Go ahead and wrap up this division. I think we'll feel a lot better, man, down the stretch. Until it's playoff time, then everybody gonna start panicking again. Ever since Drew made his comment about the anthem last summer, the media has been waiting on them. Well, look, I don't even think it's about that anymore, D. Dawson. I don't think it's about the comments. As a matter of fact, I think they kind of passed that up. This has been like this since last year, before the comments even came out. It has always been Drew Brees falling off a cliff. Anytime Drew Brees doesn't throw the ball down the field, why he not doing it? It's always these little shots. It's always, they find ways to try to discredit him. When he has some of his crowning achievements, rather it be the most passing yards, the most touchdowns, the highest completion percentage. It's crazy and funny to me how you have people on ESPN that would discredit the Saints' 9-game winning streak, and they'll say stuff like, well, they played the Atlanta Falcons, but then they'll turn around and Tom Brady came back on those same Falcons and make it seem like the Falcons are a legit football team and something that the NFL need to be afraid of or something like that. But if the Saints play the Falcons, it's just the Falcons. It's no big deal. It ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? They just the Falcons when they play the Saints. But when Tom Brady plays against the Falcons, a team that always tends to give up big leads. That's the narrative, right? That's why we laugh at Falcon fans. That's why we laugh at the Falcons organization. But it's as if those type of narratives don't even exist when it comes to certain players. When we talking about completion percentage, it seems like, everybody can do it. But when Patrick Mahomes has a high completion percentage, all of a sudden, like, it's the best thing since sliced toast bread. What's different? What's so different about, a high completion percentage from Patrick Mahomes? Why? Because he can throw the ball off the back foot for 60 yards? I just don't understand that, man. They just need to keep the same energy to me. That's all I want. I just want the same energy, man. Don't try to move this piece over here to make this piece fit. And then, like, if you realize the other side of the corner can fit the same pieces, now you want to move it over. Nah, man, keep that same energy, okay? Keep that same energy when you're talking about these teams. Talk about how Tampa Bay, they came back in the game, but they're still not out the woods yet. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that they went up against a Falcon team that is known for blowing big leads, but they still got work to do when it comes to team chemistry. I mean, they played the Minnesota Vikings a couple weeks ago. It was more so about what the Vikings didn't do in that game. I think Dan Bailey missed 4 field goals in that game. You kick at least 3 of those field goals, then you got a completely different story. But they don't tell you that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won 2 straight games. They're starting to click. They're starting to gel. Like, give me a freaking break. Give me a freaking break, man. Like I said, it's not even from a hateful place. I'm not even hating on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because first and foremost, why would I? Because the Saints have had their number all season long. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had 2 opportunities to beat the Saints, and they did not beat them not one time. Okay, so anybody that's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan that may be strolling past here and think that I'm hating on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my first question to you would be, why the hell would I be doing that? And my second reason would be is you don't see the hypocrisy going on here. And I'm pretty sure if you watch Tampa Bay Buccaneers games, you will see the same thing that I'm seeing. I'm seeing decline in a quarterback that's 42 or 43 years old at Tom Brady, just like they talking about decline in Drew Brees. So let's get it 100. Let's get it. Let's keep it 100 here on the State of the Saints podcast. But I'm about to go ahead and put the link in right now. I mean, I pretty much talked about the Minnesota Vikings game on yesterday. I go ahead and I repeat some of the things that I said for those that didn't check it out on last night. But I would like to hear from the loyal viewers and listeners of the podcast. You know, if you want to call in, chime in, please do. Malik Jackson, thank you very much for the $3.99. Says, I saw your tweet, TJ. Mike T is not unhappy. He definitely, if he is unhappy, I tell you this, he has a funny way of showing it. If I'm unhappy with my team and my organization, ain't no way in hell I'm about to give away shoes to every one of my teammates that I don't like. That makes absolutely no sense. I keep that money in my back pocket. Hey, David, what's going on, man?
TJ, what's good, my brother? Merry Christmas to you and your family.
And Merry Christmas to you too, Aaron, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for stopping by on this Christmas afternoon. So what you got for us, man?
Look, it's all about controlling the line of scrimmage and running this football down a depleted Vikings defense who are out 3 of their starting linebackers. Right. One of them is a notable Eric Kendricks and his backup, Troy Dye. There's another one who was inactive. Look, your bread and butter needs to come between Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. If you can't take advantage of a depleted linebacker core, or you can't get Jared Cook or Adam Trautman involved, or get them one-on-one matchups in a passing game against this depleted linebacker core, you're in for a world of hurt going into this postseason. You cannot allow yourself to play conservative against a defense like this, who has had your number in the past couple of years, just because they're a little thin. Okay, you have to handle your own business, because it's looking like Tampa Bay is not going to be losing any other game for the rest of this offseason. So you have this chance next week against Carolina Panthers if you somehow mess around and lose this game. Right. Now, the inactives for today grew a little lengthier with the loss of Andrews Pete, Nick Easton, and Trey Henderson. The defensive line, we already know is stout. Carl Granderson is overall more productive in the passing in a whole pass rush than Marcus Davenport. He already has Marcus Davenport has a sack and a half. Carl Granderson has 4. He has 4 in a year more than Marcus Davenport. So I'm not too worried about the edge rushers getting home to Kirk Cousins, who is more of a pocket passer than he is running the football. Granted, he can use his legs when he needs to. Right. Now the edges are fine. The interior is even more stout. They don't have Malcolm Brown, so Dalvin Cook looks like he's going to get a little extra touches, but you still have Malcolm Roach, who is very serviceable. You still have Sheldon Rankins. You still have Shai Tuttle. You still have a workable rotation and turn on your whole defensive line. Okay, so getting control of the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball is my first key to victory. Your second one, you have Marquez Callaway back. Now, Marquez Callaway is a very underrated receiver in the Who Dat Nation for the simple fact that not only could he have been used in that type man-to-man coverage that Chiefs were playing last week, he can go up, he can high point the ball like a poor man's DeAndre Hopkins, which is a compliment, mind you, but he also find those soft spots in zone coverage like an all-pro receiver. So getting him as your number 2 is a pretty big cushion for the likes of Drew Brees, who leaned on him against the Carolina Panthers, who came away with this season high of 8 catches for 75 yards. We all know he should have had a touchdown. So, and you have Lil Jordan Humphries. Look, a lot of people are going to have low expectations with Lil Jordan Humphries, and I'm not saying that it's without reason, but you have Lil Jordan Humphries coming off a touchdown catch against the defending Super Bowl champions. Now, mentally, that's going to do a lot for a young guy's confidence. Right. I expect Lil Jordan Humphries to be that reliable third option for Drew Brees to build off of that momentum late in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Like when that guy gets his first touchdown catch from a Hall of Famer, I guess a top-notch Super Bowl team, the man gets hungry. And when he gets hungry and when he gets going, that offense is going to be efficient, at least enough to give the Saints a win offensively. Defensively, you are without Marcus Williams. Losing your top 10 safety, yes, he is a top 10 safety, everybody. Go look up the stats. I'm not kidding you. He is rated number 8. His tackling, which has been a problem for everybody who has watched Marcus Williams since 2017, his tackling has been rated the best out of all tackling safety this season, which is even better than Jamal Adams. So I gotta go. As you can hear, my grandma's calling me. I gotta get the food. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'll holler at you later, TJ.
All right, Aaron, man. Take it easy, man. Thank you for the take, man. And tell your family Merry Christmas, man. Thank you for stopping by. All
yes, sir.
All right, take it easy, Aaron. Yeah, man. And shouts out to Aaron, man. Always coming through. State of the Black and Gold podcast is on YouTube as well, man. Y'all check them out. Good take on the game. Yeah, man. The Saints, they're gonna have to try to get some of these guys involved, the tight ends involved, take advantage of some of those linebackers being out, and also in the running game too, man. You know, like if you can get to that second level, who knows, man? You know, maybe you can break a big one or something like that. So. Let's try to take advantage of that. I think they could be okay, running the football, and also the tight end should be able to be successful in this game. But it is not going to be an easy task. Mike Zimmer does a really good job. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he always has his guys ready to play. And if you look at the Minnesota Vikings schedule, I mean, they lost some games this season, but none of the games, for the exception of the Falcons, has been a blowout. I mean, all the games have been pretty nip and tuck. Keen Arthur, man, what's going on, man?
Man, what's on with you, TJ?
Yeah, what's going on, man? Merry Christmas to you.
Likewise, bro. Happy holidays to you and yours.
Man, thank you, man. So what you think about this game?
Real quick. I ain't going to call this a high take, but I think you'll agree with me, bro. Drew Brees don't need to throw the ball more than 25 times a game going forward.
I agree.
Point blank.
I agree.
Like, I think we have the O-line pass blocking wise and run blocking wise to pound people.
Right.
We can really pound these people in the ground and let Drew Brees operate out of that play action, that bootleg, and hit people in the short and intermediate game. And we'll kill teams, bro. And that will eat up time of possession. And real quick, before I go forward, bro, when the last time you had some boudin?
I don't eat boudin, bro. To be honest with you, I don't. I don't, man. I think I think the only me I had it like twice in my entire life, but I don't eat that, man. Nah, that's not my thing, man.
I got you. But here's another thing for me, TJ. Why are people acting like the Saints offense is just stagnant when they refuse, and this is why I don't like the media, much like yourself. They refuse to acknowledge the fact that the Saints basically had a whole bunch of practice squad receivers up there. They got some bad breaks, and they still only lost by 3 to the Chiefs.
Right.
They only lost by 3.
Right.
To me, if anything, that said a lot about the Chiefs. They're vulnerable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I honestly never thought there was world beaters in the first place. You heard me?
Me neither.
Them boys can be beat, man.
Yeah, they can be beat. You know, I think the Saints had a really good game plan, and if they probably had a couple pieces there, like I said, if Deontay Harris was there returning the ball, and Michael Thomas was playing this game, or even Marquez Callaway, I think that they would have been a little bit more successful getting the ball down the field. It's just that trust it's just that trust aspect that Drew Brees has to have with his receivers, man. Drew Brees isn't that guy. Like Drew Brees isn't like. I mean, I would say there's very few quarterbacks like Drew Brees in the league. If Drew Brees don't trust you, he's not going to throw you away. You got quarterbacks that go out there that will put guys in positions to make plays. Like they'll put the ball up to give a guy opportunity to get the 50-50 ball. Like you don't really see Drew Brees doing that. If Drew Brees didn't have practice with you. You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't shooting with you in the gym, you know what I'm saying? Like he ain't throwing you the football, man. Straight up. That's just who he is.
Let me say this, DJ. I want people to get off Drew Brees, bro. And this is why I say that, especially for last game. We already know he came back off the injury, whatever.
Right.
Cool. We expected some rust. But here's the thing: with the exception of 3 passes, including that interception, Drew Brees played very well. Let me tell you why. I went back and did the film study, bro.
Right.
When every time he dropped back, you know, it was like 6 consecutive drives where we went 3 and out or something like that. 6 or 7.
Right.
I was looking at the receivers, bro. When the Chiefs was playing man coverage, tight man coverage, nobody, and I mean nobody, got away from them corners, bro. And when they did, it was after 3.5 seconds, which is, you already know, Drew is a 2.5 to 2.3 second pass quarterback.
Good
so
point.
If you got linemen in my face, Andres Pete, how he became a Pro Bowler is beyond me.
Wow.
If you got linemen in my face and my receivers can't get separation from cornerbacks, how do you expect me to go 20 for 27 in a game? You know what I'm saying? But you want to say, oh, I'm washed up. They brought Drew Brees back too early. Man, shut up. Look what that boy did in the second half.
Right.
He was torching them people.
Right.
But
they're not going to say that, though. I mean, it's
because it hurts their narrative.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like I say, man, there's a lot of lazy journalism going on right now, and I don't like it at all. It's just so lazy.
Ain't this called yellow journalism, something like that?
Man, yeah, it's pretty yellow here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's Hulk Hogan shirt yellow around this thing. You know, like it's man, I don't know, man. As a Keen Arthur, you know, I mean, as a person that does broadcasting, you know what I'm saying? I like to consider myself a journalist to a certain extent.
You are.
I try to, I just try to keep it 100, man. Like, that's why it just made me think like I can never work for anywhere like that. I can't. I couldn't go work anywhere where I feel like I'll just lose sight of myself, and you know what I'm saying, I'll just become like a walking, talking parody. Like,
right.
If you like a true sports fan and you just listen to some of the things that they say, like, you would know that most of the stuff they talking about is just some straight BS.
Right. Yes. I got a couple more things for you, Brian. I'm gonna get off your line. One, we need to run the ball 25 plus times today.
I agree.
25 plus, and let Drew Brees operate, like I said, out of the play action and all that. 2, TJ, please tell me how DeMario Davis and that boy Trey Hendrickson, who leads the league in sacks, I believe, or he tied with 12.5. How do they not make the Pro Bowl?
I mean, like I said, it's pretty simple, man. You know, like they don't know about this team, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like when the media controls the narrative of the team, they tell you, oh, it's Drew Brees, oh, it's Sean Payton, oh, it's Michael Thomas, it's Alvin Kamara. And like when you have like that Pro Bowl type voting, that's the people that you know. You know, those are the people that you know. It's almost like that person that you always know have been in Congress or in the Senate, and they put a sign in your front yard. You know what I'm saying? That's the only person that you know. You don't even know what they're running against. So in the back of your mind, you're gonna be like, well, let me go ahead and vote for this person, man. This sign was in my front yard. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people think. So they put these other guys in, but it just seemed like it was just rinse and repeat of last year. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, he good. Let's put him in. He was in a Pro Bowler last year. But I just think that it needs to change from year to year. Like, it seems like the Pro Bowl, like they give you the stigma or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They got teams that they actually really pay attention to. And then they got the teams they can care less about, and they just look at the players. Oh yeah, he good, so we'll just bring him back. That's how it works, man. So,
yeah. Well, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm gonna go, TJ. I think we're gonna win this game 28-17.
Okay.
That's just me. Assuming we pound the ball, bro. We pound that rock, it's over with. I'm telling you, for all teams in the league, we pound that rock and wear them out. It's over with.
Right. I agree, man. We got to get back to it. I agree with you on that one. Keen Arthur, man, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you, man, and hope you enjoy the game, man.
Likewise, man.
All right, take it easy. Yeah, thank you, Keen Arthur, man. I appreciate you always coming through, man. Always coming through with the positive take and a real take, you know, unlike the national media. Ali Williams says, TJ, do you feel like we're falling apart at the wrong time? I don't even feel like the Saints are falling apart. I just think that the Saints went up against a Philadelphia Eagles team that they really didn't know how to approach Jalen Hurts, and they went up against a Kansas City Chiefs team that was a little bit more well put together than the Saints were. So, I mean, that was just a tough stretch. And I think that, like I said, if you're like the strongest Saints supporter, I think you had a little bit of skepticism about that Kansas City Chiefs game. And if you actually followed the New Orleans Saints in a way that Dennis Allen actually goes up against guys he doesn't really have that much tape on, I mean, he often struggles in that regard. I mean, we've seen he makes the adjustments now, but sometimes you can make those adjustments at halftime, but it's a tad bit too late for you to, get back into the game. Now, they were lucky to do it against the Chargers, when Justin Herbert was lighting them up. They was lucky to get that because, and it took overtime in order for them to actually get back into the game. But, that kind of happened. So if you follow the Saints, Dennis Allen, that wouldn't be no surprise to you. I don't feel like they're falling apart, man. I just feel like, injuries do occur, man. Sometimes they happen at the beginning of the season. Sometimes they happen towards the end. But the Saints they're doing a good job, man, replacing guys and putting guys in positions that can do a little something. Josh, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, TJ?
Nothing much. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, brother. So this is my honest prediction for the game. This is my totally honest prediction.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
Saints 175, Vikings 10. What do you think about that? Not only that, it'll be the first ever 1,000-yard game. 1,000 yards rushing for Latavius, 1,000 yards passing for Drew. Think about that.
I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen, man. I don't see that happening.
It happened on the video game I played just now.
I'm just about to say that. Now, if you're playing on rookie, you got 12 minutes to kill each quarter. You probably put the artificial intelligence all the way up to 100. Maybe they can make that happen. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see that happening in a real football game, man. So hopefully they can still get this win, though, Josh.
Well, I do believe the Saints will win, but everybody's talking about it's going to come down to this, come down to that, or whatever. The thing about Saints Vikings games is there's always a bunch of goofy things that happen in those games that you can't really say it's going to come down to running or it's going to come down to passing or whatever. Because Saints Vikings games have this, and I'm not just talking about bad calls from referees or whatever. I'm just talking about there's just goofy stuff that happens when the Saints play the Vikings that just don't happen in any other game.
Right.
So it's not going to come down to any one variable, if you ask me. That said, I think the Saints are going to win. I have nothing else but my gut to say that with, but I think the Saints are going to win. It'll probably be a game within 5 points.
Yeah.
Something like a 23-17 or a 29-24 or something like that.
Right.
But I think the Saints are going to win, and I think they're going to give us a really nice, exciting, the usual nail-biting type of game for Christmas, but we're going to walk away with a victory. Now, I do want to address that first caller because he's right about Marcus Williams. I see Marcus Williams take all kinds of heat and everything like that, but the thing that people don't realize is Marcus Williams is just a victim of unlucky media coverage. Like whenever the media covers him, it's always because of his mistakes.
Yep.
So they don't really cover like the good stuff he does, which is like the 90% of the other time he's playing. He is a Pro Bowl level safety or corner. Yep. And but for whatever reason, the mistakes he's made admittedly have been big, so the media just jumps on that and it makes it look like he's his crappy corner, when really he's a really good backfield player.
Right.
And so I have Marcus Williams being down is going to be a huge issue for us today. And as good as Chauncey is, I don't see him totally making up that ground.
Right.
Because that's who they're going to put it on. They're going to make Chauncey do more stuff than he usually does.
Right.
Yeah,
and they're gonna put DJ Swearinger back there probably in his role as well. So I trust
DJ Swearinger is talented, but he doesn't have the experience yet, so they're going to take advantage of that too.
Yeah, good point.
But I feel like I guess I've got nothing else to say except Merry Christmas. But I do feel like the Saints eke out a 5-point victory. I'll leave it between 3 and 5 points. The Saints eke it out. Right.
Well, that sounds pretty. That sounds like around the same score I had. I had 27-23. New Orleans. So I think, this game, like I said, the Minnesota Vikings, the way that they're constructed on defense, it kind of goes up against what the Saints actually do well. They can play in front of the sticks. If you're not trying to beat them deep or anything like that, then I think they can play like within those 10 yards. So it's gonna be an interesting game, man. And like I said, the Minnesota Vikings don't get blown out. Just look at the games this season. Like I said, the only game where they actually lost by more than 2 touchdowns was the game against the Falcons. Every other game, they was like right there, lost by 1 point, lost by 2 points, lost by a field goal. So they're a good team, man. They Record don't indicate it, but they can beat you, man. They definitely can do that. Well,
You know
Josh,
what surprised me, though, and I'll let you go after this? You know, the 49ers, they kind of use Sanders as a sort of third running back on a lot of plays.
right.
And I'm really amazed that the Saints have not tried that same thing, because it would probably work, and I think it would really work today. You know, the combination of Sanders, Kamara, and Latavius would be an amazing friggin' backfield. Do you think if they used him like that, we would actually blow the Vikings out and the Panthers next week? I mean, not that they're going to do it, but if it did happen.
Well, I think like if they can go back to some of their like Taysom Hill like type plays, I think that will help. Now, if you want to add some Emmanuel Sanders to it, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like you're starting to see that though, Josh. You see that with the Tennessee Titans. They use Jonnu Smith, the tight end, kind of the same way. You know what I'm saying? They San Francisco also, like, now they use Deebo Samuels in that way, you know, since Emmanuel Sanders was gone. It's like, so you see teams doing that, but I don't think the Saints do that as much is because they have Taysom Hill. I feel like if they didn't have Taysom Hill to do those type of things, then, you know, you'll probably see more of Emmanuel Sanders doing that. But I just think that the Saints want to use Emmanuel Sanders in different ways. And Josh, man, it is playoff time, man. So don't be surprised. I mean, what was that play that we seen with Willie Snead through the pass to Alvin Kamara? Man, that was supposed to be a touchdown. Willie Snead just overthrew him. So that could be a play that they actually have. You know, I mean, I've heard, Alvin Kamara talking press conferences about wanting to pass the ball. I don't think that that's just something that he's saying. I think you might end up seeing that happen in the playoffs, man. I mean, you got to lay it all on the line of playoffs, man. It's win or go home. So you might see that, Josh.
All right. Well, hey, I'll let you get to your next caller, brother, and have an awesome Christmas, brother.
All right, you too, man. Take it, Josh.
Hey.
All right, man. Shouts out to Josh, man. Yeah, man. I mean, the trick plays might come. I'm probably not using them right now. You know, Sean Payton always in his bag. Let me read a few comments here, man. Is that Roethlisberger with TJ? Nah, it's my guy Josh, man. It's like Ben Roethlisberger. Nah, man, it's my guy Josh, man. Shouts out to Josh. Let's see. Kay says Merry Christmas. Kay, Merry Christmas to you too. Appreciate you for stopping by. Who that cooler talk? J187. I agree with you on Gardner. Yeah. CJ Gardner Johnson. I think that he's a really good player. That's somebody that should have made the Pro Bowl. Rest in peace to one of the best linebackers in NFL history, Kevin Greene. Yeah, Kevin Greene passed away this past week. Well, this week, as a matter of fact. I'm just so used to football being on Sunday. Kevin Greene, yeah, man. Kevin Greene was a very, outgoing guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Greene would have thrived and probably been a real true fan favorite and probably would be a household name in today's NFL, you know, with the power of social media and stuff like that. I mean, Kevin Greene has done some really great things throughout his lifetime, man. I mean, I remember Kevin Greene. I mean, we all knew him almost like the Alex Anzalone type locks, you know, sticking up out his helmet, being physical, rather it was with the Rams or when he went to the Steelers. He was a leader on the Carolina Panthers team. I mean, he even wrestled in WCW back in the day. You know, so I mean, Kevin Greene was one of those special guys, and like I said, he would probably be a household name if he was in the NFL in today's day and age. But the world lost a guy that was a free spirit, man. Everywhere that he went, he left a mark, man. Rather it was him playing football or him coaching. So rest in peace to Kevin Greene. There was only one Kevin Greene, no doubt about that, and he will be missed, man. No doubt about that. Ramsey, what's going on?
What's up, TJ?
Merry Christmas to you, buddy.
Same to you. If it seems like I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege, okay, we won that round. But Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas, buddy, man. I see you got your Drew Brees jersey on. It looks like, man. Got your video game, man. It's Christmas time, man. Hey, it seems like fun times over there in your household, buddy.
I've owned Rainbow Six Siege since launch. I haven't played until recently, but
okay.
Just chilling, winning for the Saints game.
Okay. So what you think about the game, man? How you think it's going to fare out?
I fare out us winning, but I rather see a good game, not a blowout.
Right. Well, I don't think you want to see no blowout.
It's time control. Run the ball, keep the clock ticking.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You got to run the football, Rams. That's the way they're gonna win this game. They can't throw the football all over the place. They're gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be hard for them to win this game if they just go out there with trying to throw the football all over the place in mind. So you got to score for me? You got to score for me?
Saints 30 against the Vikings 29.
Okay, all right. You definitely got a nail biter. Hopefully it goes in the Saints' favor. The curse of Joe Buck will be in full effect. Joe Buck will be announcing this game along with Troy Aikman. And I have to say, man, I don't like when those guys do the Saints game. For some apparent reason, something always happens. So I'm very superstitious, man. I told everybody that. So the curse of Joe Buck, will be in full effect. So
absolutely.
But Ramsey, man, thank you so much for stopping by, man. You enjoy the game, and Merry Christmas to you, man. If you have some time, call back for the post game.
I'll probably be asleep because I go to bed so early.
Okay, man. Well, if you're not asleep, man, feel free to call back, buddy.
All right,
take it easy. Man, shouts out to Ramsey, man. One of my favorite guys in the world, man, that calls it. Great guy. Jerry, speaking of great guys, Jerry Poyd Jr., the OG of the State of the Saints podcast. How you doing, man?
Oh, Merry Christmas, DJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you so much, man. Merry Christmas to you,
brother. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing fine, man. I'm excited about this game. My girl just made some bomb dressing. You know what I'm saying? My belly full, and I'm trying to, make sure that I'm in positive spirits, for this game. And shouts out, man. Hey, I want everybody who didn't see this, I want to check your boy out on Twitter at State of the Saints, man. Y'all see your boy how he made that macaroni because it was good. It looked hot. It looked how it tastes. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw that out there. But Jerry, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. I just want to pick up what you were saying about the media. Now, TJ, this is why the OG does not watch stuff like that, because they always talking about the Steelers, they always talking about the Cowboys, they always talking about this team and that team, and never give no credit to the New Orleans Saints. I'm telling you, I'm gonna say this: the media is 100% official hot garbage.
All right. I mean, look, I think we already knew that already.
And I meant what I said, because I don't know what this this Mike guy was talking about, but that guy don't know no football. He don't even know how to throw a football. He don't even know how to run a football. Hell, he don't even know how to catch a football. And you talking about he disrespected Michael Thomas? Get out of here with that, man.
Well, what you seen, Jerry, was a guy who probably wasn't prepared for that question, and he just went and digged in his bag, and that was the big main storyline involving the Saints, about Michael Thomas. It wasn't the fact that he actually came back and he had a hamstring injury and he re-aggravated his ankle injury. He didn't know anything about that, so how could he possibly even have a real legit tape? He don't know about that stuff. The only thing he did was go back into the vault and found that storyline that was percolating around week 5 or week 6. So that I mean, like I said, that was just very irresponsible and reckless. And a person that's a casual fan would actually heed what he was saying and would actually add that to the collection of their thoughts about the Saints franchise, which is very, very dangerous to me.
I hear what you're saying, TJ. But before I get to my next segment, shout out to everybody that's in the chat, those that are here on YouTube, Facebook, other platforms. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope y'all open up your gifts from this morning with your families and your friends. I love each and every one of y'all. But right now, that Christmas morning being gone, it's time to go to work this afternoon. We got a present of our own to open, and that's putting the Minnesota Vikings in the pit of misery and send them back home with a loss and an elimination from playoff contention. Those are two things that I want to happen today.
Right. Yeah, we definitely got to get this done, man. We can't be lollygagging around and going into week 17 trying to win the division. We got to go ahead and get it done today. And I think right. And I think that honestly, if they do lose today, man, I probably am going to be a tad bit nervous. I'm not going to give up on them, but I am going to be a little bit nervous because, the narrative is that the Saints, are one of the best teams in the league. And if you're the best team in the league, you don't lose games like this, man. You find ways to win these type of games, So I want to see the Saints flex their muscle in this game. Now, like I said, the way the Saints play offense, it kind of caters to the way that Mike Zimmer plays defense, but I should see something that the Saints just do leaps and bounds better than the Minnesota Vikings. That's what tells me that you are a better team than the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be there in the end because the Saints really don't blow anybody out for the exception of the Buccaneers. I want to see them do something better, and that make me feel very confident. What's the prediction score you got for the game, Jerry?
My prediction for this game, TJ, I got the Saints winning this game 35-14, and I'm gonna keep it like that. As long as the Saints win the game, no matter what the score is, as long as we beat the Vikings and send them back to Minnesota,
right,
with a loss and a playoff contention, being eliminated, right. That's all I care about. I want to get this. I want to get these bad memories from the Minnesota Vikings away from them.
Right.
That's all I want.
Right, man. And it starts today.
Before I get off, TJ, I'm gonna address this to you. This is coming from the OG. This is coming from the OG of the New Orleans Saints. But I know somebody else is coming on. But this is my message to you, bro. You just keep doing what you do every week. No matter what folks say, I don't care if you got trolls on here. I don't care what you got on here. You just keep doing what you do and analyzing the New Orleans Saints and all these other teams that you do on here. Don't worry about what they do. That's on them. You keep doing what you do best every day to keep us entertained. That's what we love about you, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, man. And man, thank you so much, Jerry. It's people like you, man, that make this show worth doing each and every day, man. Merry Christmas to you. And if you got some time, call back during the post game, my friend.
I will definitely call back after the game is over. Hopefully, we'll send them home, like I said, with a loss. But I will be back for the post game. But I will be back for the post game show after the game is over.
Well, that sounds good.
Even while I'm watching Friday Night SmackDown, I'll still come on.
Okay, man. That sounds good to me, man. That's something I want to check out too, man. I heard some positive news. I just want to see it happen. I won't spoil it for everybody. But yeah, man. Feel free to call back. All right, take it easy, man.
All right, let's put a smackdown on these Vikings.
Yeah, man. Let's lay the smackdown on them. Jerry, thank you so much. Hey, man, let's lay the smackdown on the Minnesota Vikings, man, one time, But, man, shouts out to Jerry, man. I appreciate that optimism. And, I'm not too much worried about trolls. And the reason why is because, I remember at one time when nobody was checking out the channel. I put a picture up from 2 years ago, man. I remember when like 4 people were actually viewing the show, and I'm pretty sure one of those people was my mama. And the other person probably was me, just to see, what I'm saying? Like, just for me to go back and kind of evaluate what I was doing. But I love doing this show, man. And I invite everybody here, like if, anybody that has a take, I don't expect everybody to agree with what I'm saying. People going to try to come in and, infiltrate the chat. That's fine by me too, man. Cause like I said, there was a time where none of this stuff was going on with me. 2020 has been a great year for me as a host, a broadcaster, a journalist, or what have you. And I'm blessed. Some troll, thank you very much for the $2 says, we try, but we can't stop TJ's realness. Nah, you can't really, man, you're not going to stop that now. I got to keep it 100. That just, I got to. Jermaine, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, TJ?
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Man, thank you so much, man. So what you got for us, man? Big game, week 16, Saints, Vikings. What you got?
Man, I'm looking at it. I want to compliment you too on the other night when you was making a comment about Breeze, how you saying teams not really scared of him no more.
Right.
That was a good point you hit on, because I'm noticing that too. Everybody's, playing that defense that, that you wouldn't expect on Breeze,
Right.
And they know they ain't got to worry about too much of the deep balls. per se.
Right.
But, you know, in that screen game, man, I think they should put that screen game away until, you know, they at least get up, you know, a couple of scores on teams before they start, you know, keep using the screen play, screen.
Right.
You know.
Well, I think this game, Jermaine, they can actually use the screen game. I think it's first off, no, let me take that back. I think it's worth a shot to run the screen game. The reason why the Saints screen game doesn't really work as well is when they go up against athletic linebackers. When you got sideline to sideline linebackers, guys that can get home quick, the screen game really is null and void. But in games like this, when you actually have guys who are not playing, you know, people like Kendrick, you know, like people like some of these other linebackers that are extremely athletic, I think it's worth a shot. Now, I don't think that they need to just make it their bread and butter because their offensive line isn't constructed the way that it once was. You know, when they had Bush Ride and they had Carl Nix and you know, they had Jonathan Goodwin, you know, guys that, you know, they swung that pass out. I mean, it was going to get at least about 15, 20 yards, you know what I'm saying, behind, you know what I'm saying, with Pierre Thomas, who I feel like is the king of the screen. But these days, they're not really doing it, you know what I'm saying, as effective. I don't know if it's just a timing thing or just the fact that the linebackers are just extremely athletic who they're going against this year, man.
Right. But, yeah, I noticed that too. It don't look as strong as it used to be, you know.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. So what about a prediction, man? Like, how do you see this game going? What do you think the Saints have to do in order for them to get this win today, Jermaine?
Man, I see that. My thing is they got to run that ball, man. They got to, you know, like you said, you can't go in there throwing that ball 30 times, you know, and expecting to win. You can't do that. I mean, you got to get balanced. You know, once you get balanced, you know, it's all in front of you, you know, once you get balanced. But I would say run the ball, you know, much as you can, you know, to keep Breeze from throwing it, because you don't want to put Breeze in a situation that he's going to get hurt. You know, if you try to throw the ball, they're gonna know, you know, we're gonna send some blitz at you, you know. So I would say run the ball, stay balanced, and they shouldn't have any problems.
Yeah, I mean, running the football is key in this game. And Jermaine, I said this before. I said it last night. I didn't really say it here today. They have to start fast. They got to start fast. This is one of those games where I feel like if they win a coin toss, they got to receive the ball. Like, dictate the pace, because what happens with the Saints is if the Saints defense goes on the field first, they drive down the field. And let's just say, for example, the opposing team gets a field goal or a touchdown. Now the Saints are playing from behind. And it's like there's this sense of urgency already. See, the Saints don't really have that luxury like some of these other teams have out here, right? If you have a quarterback that has a dynamic arm, like, you know what I'm saying, like Deshaun Watson, who has skills to, you know, scramble. You got Patrick Mahomes. So they can erase a 10-point lead just like that. Now the Saints can erase a 10-point lead, but it's not going to be as quick. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very methodical. You might go into halftime. If they're down like 10-0, you might go into the half 9-10 or something like that, 3 field goals. So I think they need to start fast, because if they start fast, then you don't have to worry about Drew Brees throwing you back into the game. You can kind of minimize the amount of passes that he has. So by getting the ball first, dictating the pace of the game, maybe get a couple first downs, flip the field just a tad bit. Even if you can't get a field goal or touchdown, you still kind of set the tone in that game. You know what I'm saying? And it gives the defense an opportunity to strategize and see the way that they want to approach this game. But they definitely got to start fast, man. And they cannot play behind the 8 ball in this game.
Right, because they did that last week. You know, they started off stagnant. I mean, stagnant. They couldn't do nothing, you know. And that to me, that hurted them. I
mean, yeah, because when they start to pick things up, they were playing from behind, Jermaine, and they always was playing with a sense of urgency. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and when you're playing with a sense of urgency, it's hard for you to find that right level of tempo. You don't know if it has to be like at a very like slow, methodical pace, or it's like, you know what I'm saying, you got to kind of get the tempo going almost like Drew Brees with a 2-minute drill. So by not playing behind, or playing like right there, score 7-7, they score, you score, you basically can still kind of set the tone. But if you're down by like 10 points or you're down by a touchdown, it's going to cause a sense of urgency. And I just feel like the Saints don't need to play like that, because we all know that Sean Payton, when he feels like his back is against the wall, he goes to what he knows, which is Drew Brees throwing the football all over the place. Right. And that's a trap that we don't want to fall in, because that's exactly what Mike Zimmer and his defense wants. That's what he wants. They want to pin their ears back and they want to go after Drew Brees. They want to test those ribs, because, like I said, nobody really fears Drew Brees the way they used to, because all they have to do is they just got to play the sticks, basically. The passes aren't going to go 15, 20 yards down the field, like you said at the beginning, Jermaine. So if they could actually get the ball into Drew Brees' hands and not into the hands of a playmaker like Kamara, a playmaker like Emmanuel Sanders or Marquez Callaway on a smaller scale, then I think that Mike Zimmer would be extremely happy, and I think he would like his chances. So, what's the score? What you got as a score, man, Jermaine? Before you go, what you got?
I'm going 28-21.
Okay. All right. So a 7-point game for the New Orleans Saints. Sounds good to me, man. Thank you so much, Jermaine. Thank you so much for calling in. Feel free to call back anytime, brother. We're here, man. All right, take it easy. All right. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Jermaine, man. Good talk, good call right there. Yeah, man. The Saints are going to have to dictate the pace of this game. You got to make sure that Drew Brees isn't throwing the football all over the place. You have to make sure that you have a good balance going here. And the Saints, I think that was Keen Arthur that said it. Drew Brees don't need to throw the football more than 25 times in this game. Run this football, man. The offensive line has got to put up a really good performance in this game if the Saints are going to have a chance at winning this football game. Because if you are looking for Drew Brees to throw the Saints in this game, you know what I'm saying, and throw for 300 yards, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, I'm just going to say this. Do I think that Drew Brees has the capability of throwing for 300? Yes, I do. But I haven't seen it, okay? It would be a shock to me if Drew Brees throws for 300. It would be a shock to me if Drew Brees throws for 275 in this game. I mean, I'm just being real. The Minnesota Vikings really seem to have the number of Drew Brees. The way that they attack Drew Brees, it just seems like to me like it's a team that he often struggles against. Damian says, say TJ, it will be the first time in a long time that the Saints won't have a 1,000-yard receiver. Yeah, I mean, with the injuries and guys being out of the lineup, and the chemistry between Drew Brees and also with Taysom Hill, not being as accurate and stuff like that. I mean, it's a combination of things, but that goes to show you, how good this Saints team is. You don't have a 1,000-yard receiver, and yet you still winning games. You still won 10 games. That goes to show you how good this football team really is. Taysom Hill needs to play tight end. Taysom Hill also needs to throw the ball. He needs to go into his bag, okay? I think people are saying that Jameis is back, so that's a good thing, if he's off the COVID list. So I think that would actually put Taysom back into his original spot as that Swiss Army knife role. And I think that can be a mismatch problem for that. And it can also help out, the down the field plays. Okay, it can help down the field plays. Maybe you can get the ball to Callaway, get the ball to Emmanuel Sanders. If he gets behind a defender, so it would actually help him. And I think those games that Taysom Hill actually played in, it would help, because now you have an idea about some of the plays that he can do well and some of the plays that you probably just need the ball up and throw in the trash can. So I think that we might see a different combination of Taysom Hill, because it's not so much about you guesstimating or wondering or hoping that this play will work. You actually seen him in real time execute some of these plays, and you feel a little bit more excited about him taking the field and being able to execute those plays. So I'm hoping that we see Taysom Hill more. I think that he was actually supposed to be heavily involved in the game last week, but the issue happened with Jameis Winston before the game, and that kind of hurt the Saints, because you had to have Taysom as your backup and you had to limit his snaps. So I think the Saints had a game plan for him, and just the fact that Jameis was on a COVID list, they couldn't use him the way that they wanted to. I'll read a few more, man. Then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, get ready for the game. Sir Rogers says more Wildcat plays for Taysom. Well, Sir Rogers, yeah, you can get the Wildcat going, but you can also get some passing plays going too. I mean, just think about it, Sir Rogers. Like when Taysom Hill threw the football and some of those packages where he just ran on the field, you really didn't know what he can do. For the most part, like I know we have our issues with Taysom, about him fumbling the football, but for the most part, like we are a little bit more comfortable with him throwing the football than we were when we really didn't know the type of quarterback or the type of skill set that he actually has. So I do feel like the Saints can actually utilize him in different ways because you actually now have offensive plays that are designed for Taysom. So now you have Drew Brees coming back and you can use Taysom in different ways. And a defense really won't know how to approach it. Because now you can't just say, oh, he in the game, so they about to do the RPO. You know what I'm saying? They about to just, do the Wildcat. You really do not know. All right, and finally, we're going to finish it up with Kenny. Kenny says, Merry Christmas to you, too. Giving a shout-out to KB. We need to work on the offensive line. Well, this is a game right here. If they don't go out here and run the football, then I'm going to be a little bit nervous, man, going into the postseason because we all know, man, you got to learn and know how to run a football going into the postseason. And you definitely got to be playing your best football. And if you can't run the football, I don't know what to say, man. The Saints are going to have to be more physical than the Minnesota Vikings in this game. But I want to say thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Once again, Merry Christmas to you and your family. And thank you so much for stopping by. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Also on Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And follow yours truly on Twitter at State of Saints. That's State of Saints. And on Instagram at TJJones_. That's TJAY Jones_. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?